soul traveling gurus. Welcome to the channel. If you are a day one and a returning subscriber, if you are new to the channel, I want to go ahead and welcome you. Okay. It is Sunday, right? We're going to go ahead and tap into the energy that we're going to be approaching the next 7 days with. I do feel the sifting starting to settle some, right? Last week we did spend a lot of time energetically clearing things out. I guess recognizing the things we had to let go, whether it was people, situation, time, energy, relationships, right? There was a process of sifting through what stays and what goes, right? Uh, I have gotten to a place within my journey where I'm learning to allow things to flow, okay? So I don't really try to give titles to messages anymore unless I'm led. And as I was getting ready to go ahead and come on and do this particular message, what I heard clearly was healed alignment. Okay. That is the resonance that is here for those of us that welcomes it. Healed alignment. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and jump into the message. All right. We're going to clear the atmosphere. We got to sound the tones. We're also going to go ahead and charge our water. So you can grab your water. Okay. I'm pretty sure at some point in my videos on my channel, because I have over 1,000 videos, I have something about water. Okay. But if you're interested in the properties spiritually and energetically that water holds, you can go ahead and do your research on that, okay? You study to show thyself approved, okay? If you're interested in also studying to show thyself approved about the tones and sound, okay? You can go ahead and you can research that also, okay? Everything is a frequency. Everything has a resonance, including your emotions, okay? Now, so we're going to go ahead and sound the tones, all right? So first tone that you guys are going to hear is going to be the tone for fire energy. And the reason why we're doing fire energy first, it is at the us. Let me slow down because we're in retrograde. It is at the utmost importance that you understand how important your action is, aka your willpower. Okay, your reactions. It's very important of where you direct your energy to, whether it is mental energy, emotional energy, physical energy, spiritual energy. It doesn't matter. It's important is where you're directing your energy to right now. Okay, so I am going to sound the tone with the resonance of what the flow of the energy is right now, right? So the first tone that you're going to hear is going to be the fire elements, okay? The fire elements are the signs Aries, Leo, as well as Sagittarius. If you are not a fire sign, okay, you can still apply this energy using the archetype of your willpower, action, reaction, or movement, okay, right? In the tarot family, that will be the wands energy, okay? Now, we're going to hop on over to the water element is what you're going to hear next, okay? And that comprises of Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. If you are not a Cancer, a Scorpio, or a Pisces, you apply this archetype to your intuition, your emotions, and your feelings, which we are learning here on this channel that our feelings connect to a frequency. Your feelings are indicators to a particular frequency, a resonance, okay? An energy resonance, all right? Next tone that you're going to hear is going to be for the air elements, okay? So if you're a Gemini, a Libra, or an Aquarius, okay, that's your element. If you are not a Gemini, a Libra, or an Aquarius, you apply it to your thoughts, your thinking, your deductive reasoning, your logical side, okay? Now, last tone you're going to hear is the earth tone. Okay, this is going to be Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. If you are not a Taurus, a Virgo, or a Capricorn, the way that you're going to apply this energy to your day-to-day experience is going to be the physical realm, okay? The tangible things, okay? The house, the car, the bills, the job, the career, okay? That's where this energy is going to play out, okay? So if we're dealing in the realms of tarot deck, that's going to be your coins, okay? Fire is your wands, water is your cups, air is your swords, okay? And earth is your coins, all right? Just so you know, everything connects, all right? Now, here are the tones. First tone. Second tone. Third tone. Fourth tone. I'm going to assign the tone again for the ear tone, because that tone, although it wasn't flat, I felt some static in the ear for the ear tone. So if you are not a Gemini, a Libra, or a Aquarius, this is in the realm of your thinking, okay? So there's a lot of static right now in the realm of thought. So we're going to clear and sound the tone one more time for that frequency. That felt a lot better. Okay. And I forgot to go over the water, but just so you know, whenever we sound the tones, that's clearing and charging your water also. And we have been charging our water with the frequency of safety, trust, and stability, okay? And just so you know, those are the first three tones of love, okay, that we've been dealing with. I am going to be making a lot of connection here on this channel, okay? Because everything is connected. Everything is connected. And once you see the patterns, you can't unsee the patterns, okay? Everything is connected. And once you see the patterns, you cannot unsee the patterns, okay? You are not meant to get stuck in your zodiac sun sign. You are meant to master the whole zodiac wheel, because they're all aspects of your psyche as well as how your reality unfolds, okay? Now, you know it's Sunday, okay? And already I told you I got the channel title of Healed Alignment, okay? Let me just go over what Sunday represents, okay? Sunday represents the planet, or the what we would call the planet of the sun, okay? The planet of the sun rules Leo, okay? So we're going to be tapping into Leo's energy. The archetype of Leo is I will, your willpower, okay? Now, let me also tell you some things that you're going to be tapping into energetically if you're not a Leo, how you're going to be tapping into this energy. This energy deals with your purpose, okay? It deals with your vitality. It deals with your inner authority, okay? It deals with your heart, okay, of being, okay? Literally allowing your heart to be your true compass, okay? It deals with your self-development. It deals with pride as well. It also deals with self-confidence. It deals with your central goals, your main central goals, okay? And it deals with your creative power. And it also deals with your shining light, okay? Now, there's an opposite to all of those things, because not because it represents those things means that you're standing in your purpose, for example, right? Not because it deals with those things means that you're walking in your self-confidence, for example, okay? You could be insecure, right? Because there's always a polarity. There's always an opposite side to everything, okay? So when we're stepping into the energy of the sun, we're stepping into the energy of your willpower, your determination, All right. That is important, especially because we are now in the sifting aspect of healed alignment. So, all of the things that were trauma filled in your experiences, all of the things that were disappointment in your experiences, all of the things that may have caused or triggered some type of insecurity or disharmony, right? Or self pity or self doubt or lack, all of those things that you would have energetically learned to read the room, whether it was having to be on guard and shift, or how do we call it, code switch, right? Like literally code switching based on who's in the room, right? Because code switching was not always linked to going to work and having to put on your professional face and then coming home and then putting on your, like your comfortable face. No, you literally had to go through an era where you learned to code switch in relationships, okay? Especially if you are hypersensitive. You hear me? Okay? With that being said, all of the things that you've had to go through that may have brought you some type of disappointment, some type of wound, okay, some type of setback, okay, some type of maybe even self-doubt. Please know that those are the things that's going to fuel you in this healed alignment. See, because what we need to recognize is through those times, we didn't know that we was reading energy. We didn't know that we were already being trained for this time that we're currently in right now. See, we didn't know that, right? So as we step into this new energy, because I know you may not necessarily be able to put this energy into words, but there is a resonance. There is a feeling, right? That is now in the collective. Now, I had literally like a 5-hour conversation with one of my friends. We've been friends. It's my kids' cousins, their dad's cousins, and we've been friends for over 20 years now. And I had a 5-hour conversation with her a couple of days ago. And we sat and talked about this undertone of this heated alignment shift, right? Whether you call it waking up, whether you call it a new earth, right? Whatever you call it, right? There now is the word that I'm hearing is a new perspective of how you view things, a new perspective of how you view people, a new perspective of even how you view sadness, a new perspective of even what home feels like to you, right? Now, let me just also give you some information about the sun. The sun deals not just with purpose and self-confidence and pride, right? Its main archetype taps into your identity and your life purpose. This is fixed energy. So whenever you're dealing with fixed energy in astrology, you're dealing with energy that is placed still. It's not moving. It ain't no back and forth, right? It ain't no back and forth. I'm a fixed sign, okay? It ain't no back and forth, right? Once you've taken and planted yourself as to how you're going to view or see a thing, like it's done. It ain't no moving, okay? So you got fixed energy like Scorpios, maybe even like Leos and Tauruses, right? You can find that Tauruses can be a little stubborn and a little bullheaded. That's because of that fixed placement. And the reason why I need to point that out is because I want you guys to understand this new energy, this new perspective that you're now stepping into or that you have stepped into is fixed energy. Okay? It's fixed energy, which means it ain't going nowhere. It ain't going nowhere. Now, the beautiful thing about this is you don't have to drag nobody along. You're not responsible for saving anybody. You're not responsible for shouting it to the world. You're not responsible for any of that. The only thing that you are responsible for is making sure that you are walking your own healed alignment. You know what that does? You then become the lighthouse for other people to walk their own healed alignment. See, and in this healed alignment, you're not going to have to push people away, because what's happening now is people that's not on their own healed alignment, they can't even be in your presence. Energetically, they cannot be in your resonance energetically. They just can't. They just can't, right? So how are you stepping in to this new week in this Gregorian calendar year, right? Let's talk about it, y'all, okay? Because we know this is not even the correct number of the year, right? We already know that. But without going into that, I just want to show you guys something really, really quickly. Okay, really, really quickly. So remember, I told you I jotted down the title because I did not want to lose the title. We're gonna go into the date. Let's do the date. Let's do the date. So we know that this is March 1st, right? As we know it, 2026 in the Gregorian calendar year. We know that, right? We're going to play some tic-tac-toe numerology, right? So we're going to place the 3 when we need to place the 3, right? And just so you know, this right here is consciousness, okay? This right here is going to be consciousness, okay? I'm going to place the 3 where the 3 needs to go. We're going to place the 1 where the 1 needs to go. This is the physical plane, okay? Then we got 2. We're not going to place a 0, okay? Then we're going to place the other 2, and then we're going to place the 6, okay? When you don't have any numbers here, 6, I'm going to place the 6, okay? When you don't have any numbers in these lines, what you see is blank lines. That is what you call an arrow in numerology, okay? And this arrow is a line of passivity. And you know when something is passive, right? Anything could get by you when you're passive. Anything could get by you when you're passive because you're really not, you're really not standing in your truth when you're passive. You're really not on guard when you're passive. That's why you get passive aggressive, right? So there's an arrow of passivity running through today's day. What does that mean? That is even more of an indication for you guys to realize that not everybody's doing their work. And there's a lot of laid back passive energy in the atmosphere where we are being asked to normalize dysfunction. And this is not new. Like, this has been unfolding, man. Like, if you look back and see, like, this has been primed energy. This energy has been in priming mode or grooming mode for quite some time now, right? And I can see, like, on a spiritual sense, like, why it had to be that way because of where we are right now. Because of exactly where we are right now, right? So there's a new perspective on sadness. There's a new perspective on what home feels like to you, okay? So we know that we're dealing with healed alignment here. Come on. Not only are we dealing with healed alignment, we're dealing with progression. I can't make these stuff up. I like when the cards come through and do what the cards do. I like when the energy comes through and verify, right? Because truth, recognize truth. You don't have to force this on anybody because whoever is going to get this message and whoever this message is for, right? They're going to get it. So who has an ear, they will hear. Who has an eye, they will see. Because once you hear, you can't unhear. Once you see, you can't unsee. There's a new perspective on sadness. that you're being asked to take for this next step of the journey, right? There's a new perspective that you're being asked to tap into on what home feels like to you. Okay? Last week, when we tapped into the sun's energy, it asked us to walk boldly and confidently into our week, knowing who we are, knowing our power, knowing that it was okay because we can't save anybody. This week is saying healed alignment. New way of viewing sadness. Take the lessons, man. Every tear that you cried, every uncomfortable feeling that you've had to go through was for this time right here, right now. Progressions is happening right here, right now. Progressions is happening. I also want to say that Neptune is now in Aries. That's a big ass deal. I'm going to tell you why that's a big ass deal. Okay. Neptune. You know when the information is coming so fast that you're you know, like it's coming through so fast that I need to slow it down so I can get it out. Neptune co-rules Pisces. Okay? Along with Jupiter. So we have expansion and we have regeneration, awakening energy, illusion energy, right? So Neptune is the energy of high levels of spiritual awakening, or what we may call on this channel remembering, right? Remembering, going within, hence the channel for your inner voice, right? So Neptune has now entered Aries, and Aries is where it all begins. Aries is where you step into your I amness. This is your personal planet of how you assert yourself in the world. And this is important. This is important for the energy that we've now stepped into. And Neptune spends about 14 years in a sign. So for the next 14 years, Neptune is going to be in the sign Aries. Now, all right, Kimora, what do you mean a sign? And I don't understand planet shit, you know, and this is all mumbo jumbo, and you know, and you're gonna have to break it down a little bit to me because, you know, sometimes you be going way over my head. I get that a lot. Okay. I get that a lot from my core, you know, because I just be, okay, so let me just break this down to you of how this plays out in your life, okay? So you can think of the planet Neptune as the operating energy, okay? This is the energy that's operating. This is the energy that's going to set the script of the movie that's going on, okay? This is what the movie is going to be about, okay? So for the next 14 years, the movie that Neptune is going to be projecting is going to be from the viewpoint of Aries, your I amness, okay? Who you truly are, who you truly want to be, or who the fuck you faking to be. It don't really matter, right? Right, because Neptune, and it rules Pisces. Pisces is also about illusions. So however you want to be perceived in the world, even if it's on some bullshit, for the next 14 years, the progression, the journey is going to be through the sign of Aries. Now, okay, so what do you mean? Okay, so I got the Neptune, right? It's telling me exactly how the storyline, right? Okay, so I get it, right? But where does Aries come into play? Aries is going to be the character, okay, on how you're going to use this energy, right? So we know that Neptune is all about the highest spiritual awakening, and it rules Pisces, so it can also be illusion. So we know the movie that we're going to be seeing for the next 14 years with Neptune, right, is going to be about illusions and truth and spiritual awakening and lies, right? Now keep in mind, this is exactly why you can't hide shit no more. You can't hide shit no more. You can lie to everybody else, but you can't lie to yourself, right? You cannot hide shit no more. You're going to see higher levels of mental spiraling, emotional spiraling, because people are not going to be doing this progression work right here, right? You're not going to be using your confidence to see shit differently, right? To tap into what home really feels like and to understand the progression of the journey that you're walking through. Because we're talking about 14 years here, y'all. You know, some people say, well, that's just mumbo jumbo, like, you know, astrology and all of that stuff. Don't, man, let me tell you something. When you really tap into predictive astrology, that should be down to a T. And even in your great books, it tells you that you wrestle not with flesh and blood, but principality and energies in high places. They talk about planetary activity, as above, so below. These are archetypes within you. So Aries is going to be really playing this character for the next 14 years of, okay, are you remembering truly who you are? Or are you just going to walk in this illusion and be the victim, right? Because we know Pisces is all about service or suffering. And when some people are not honest with themselves, you don't realize that you are the one that has you in a cycle of suffering, right? Because you're not tapping into your willpower. You're not tapping into your healed alignment. You know that person ain't no good for you, but you still making excuses for them. We went through that. We went through that last week. Last week we were letting go of people that, or things that we love, or situations that we love that we know we had to let go, even if we didn't want to. Even if we didn't want to. There's a journey unfolding right here where you need to take a different perception on your sadness. You have a new perception on sadness. You're understanding now that this was all part of the journey. You're understanding that this was part of the journey because you're in a place of healed alignment now. So now you have an opportunity. Come on now. Come through Saturn, right? Come through Saturn, right? Saturn deals with structure. Saturn deals with timekeeping. Saturn deals with discipline. You now have a new perspective and you're walking in purpose now, right? And you're creating structure. You're creating structure. So when it comes to what home feels like, there is structure being created. Your yeses are going to be yeses. Your no's are going to be no's. No longer going back and forth with what you feel in your core being, right? Versus saying, or maybe be manipulated by other people's emotions, other people's lack of accountability, being an enabler. You're understanding that the feeling of home may not necessarily come from the people that is in your bloodline. You may not necessarily share the same DNA. You're realizing that you may feel more at home by yourself than in the presence of this person or this situation. You're restructuring what home feels like to you in this new healed alignment. Walk boldly with confidence into your new placement of how you perceive the world. And this has been a long time coming. Come on now, we looking at progression of the next 14 years. I'm feeling myself. I'm feeling myself. I'm feeling myself, right? Come on, you've done the work. You've done the work. You are no longer passive. You understand? Come on, we just did this Gregorian calendar year, right? So this is your higher consciousness right here. Just so you know, these twos right here, this is emotional energy right here. Okay? The beautiful thing about this double twos right here is this lets me know that this has an opportunity for people to really tap into what they're feeling. You don't got to run from your feelings no more. Your feelings are indicators. Your feelings are indicators. Ouch. I hit my funny bone, y'all. Ooh, that hurt. Your feelings are indicators. Start paying attention to what your body feels like when the phone rings and it's this person on the phone. Start paying attention to what your body feels like when you open your email and you see an email from this particular person or this particular email address. Start paying attention to what your body feels like when you read a particular text message. Okay? Does your body soften or does it tense up? If it tenses, you are not operating from a place of safety. That's your body. Your nervous system letting you know, hey. Time for us to track our progression here. Remember, we're now having a new perspective on our sadness, right? Because why? We are walking in healed alignment, right? Hey. Check in. Warning, alarm, right? This don't feel good. We created a new structure and discipline and how we moving now. Nah, this is an indication that something is off. This ain't a game no more. You no longer in a position where you are playing or battling with you. And when I say battling with you, meaning that you're not going to be a pawn in nobody's fucking game. Have you realized, and I don't know if this is happening to anybody else. I was just, because I don't know y'all. I find now that I don't even want to hear the TV. I don't, I find everything just feels like noise now. I just want quiet. Embracing. This is what it feels like. It feels like you're not trying to force anything. You're kind of good either way, You're kind of good either way. It's like you can plan to go out and hang out, and if you get a phone call like, nah, I changed my mind. Like, you good either way, And sometimes you kind of like, shit, I don't gotta go nowhere. Like, you're just embracing your quiet time and your stillness. Because honestly, the sadness has turned into something beautiful. The sadness has turned into something meaningful. You found yourself in this place, right? You've had to redefine what home feels like to you. I can't make this shit up. You're embracing success. That sadness has turned into success. Healed alignment. Bottom of the deck, courage. I'm having this thing now with animals. When I was having a 5-hour conversation with my girlfriend, I was taken back to an encounter that I used to have. And I don't know if you guys, you might have realized this. I remember like about a year and a half ago when I was doing these readings and I was in the park and I was walking about 7 miles a day. And you know how you have the deers, in the park here in Georgia, the deers, they run, through the park. And when they see you or hear you coming, what they do is they'll just run, right? And I was having these experiences that when I was walking through the park, the deers would literally stop and just watch me. I mean, it was happening so frequently that I took notice, and so we were talking about that a couple of days ago, and it really put me into the energy of being in that place of stillness and embracing, like being one with nature. It was like I was in awe of them and they were in awe of me, and we were all in awe of the beautiful trees and just the gorgeousness of the day, like just walking through the park, just nothing but stillness. There's no more fighting, there's no more forcing. There's no more trying to figure it out. There's just stillness. It just is. Once you've changed your perception and you understand that you're on a healed alignment, and there's a progression here. And this progression is going to require structure, discipline. Oh, Check this out. Bottom of the deck. Wisdom. Using wisdom. You've been released. Your abundance, and I'm gonna take this because this is upside down. Your abundance no longer first comes externally. Because this is in reverse, I'm gonna read this of abundance coming first from your internal being. You're flexible. Literally going with the flow. Literally going with the flow. Why? Because you're in healed alignment. Come on now. Reverse card, healing chaos. Healing chaos. Look at all these butterflies. So we're going to take that energy and we're now going to start to project that externally. I can. Come on, man. And this is the second time courage came up. And once again, internally first. It's in reverse. We're going to flip that right side up. Whew. Pleasure. This ain't a joke. This is real. You have been working and progressing towards all of this. You're not brand new to this. You've been true to this. Right? Not brand new to this no more. You've been true to this. People sit back and they want to know why you don't maybe react as much anymore. Right? Why you don't feel the need to explain yourself as much anymore. Because you're walking in healed alignment. Let's recap. Let's recap and close out this video. And I am, like I said, going to start posting as of today, tomorrow's video a day early, so that way, at least early in the morning. So when you wake up for your coffee or whatever, right, you could have the energy as you move through the day, okay? So we're going to recap. Okay, today is Sunday when I'm recording this video, okay? Not necessarily, you don't need to timestamp the date per se. The only thing that we're just timestamping is the energetic frequency in which we are reading this message from, okay? Which is Sunday. Sunday is ruled by the sun. The sun rules Leo. Leo operates in the archetype of your willpower, right? So if you're not a Leo, the way that you will be taking in this energy today is using in the sun's energy, okay? Hold on. I need to go on get the dates. Okay, so we do have, like I said, the hour of passivity running through the date today. But just know, okay, when you listen to this message, just know you may be experiencing some people that's operating in the hour of passivity, okay? Like I said, we don't, whenever this message get to you, honey, it get to you, okay? So we do need to just recap that Sunday is all about your identity and your life purpose, okay? It's a fixed energy, which means that it is it's not going nowhere. It ain't budging, okay? It ain't budging, all right? And we're also talking about masculine energy, which means that it's very masculine in nature, right? Okay, so it can also be very ego-based, okay? Just keep that in mind. So if you over here, you using this masculine energy that the sun is representing, what you can find is you tapping into your purpose, right? You feel more vital energy. You're tapping in and dealing with your own inner authority, right? Your heart is lining up. Okay, your heart and ego is lining up, which means your spirit and your ego is lining up, which means that you are your own energetic compass, a moral and ethical compass. You don't need somebody to tell you right or wrong, okay? You do unto others as you would want it to be done unto you. Self-development, your central goals, confidence, creative power, your shining light, your pride, This can be very egotistic energy, okay? And this, and also the sun deals with your heart and your spine too, okay? So now that we got that, if you're not a Leo, those are the things that you can use this archetype to tap into. And the message was very clear, and yet simple. Healed alignment, right? Healed alignment. I'm gonna need you to look at this differently. I'm gonna need you to step in your confidence and use all your sadness, all your trauma, all of your disappointments, right? I'm gonna need you to look at that and know that you was trying way too hard back then, or maybe you were not aware that even back then or in those situations you were in training, okay, of reading energy. So I'm gonna need you to take a new look at how you view your sadness, right? Because you're operating right now in an energy where progression is happening. The journey has gotten you to a place where you now are paying attention to what home really feels like. You're bringing structure and discipline, okay? You're no longer you're no longer looking outside of yourself for the structure, this validation, this confidence. You don't gotta go looking outside of yourself. No more. You're being asked to embrace this healed alignment. Embrace the success because you're now seeing things differently. Use the wisdom that you gained, the wise dome, your brain, and your brain-heart coherence, right? You've been going through a process of releasing. You've been going through that. All of that sadness that they asking you to now see differently, you've been going through a process of releasing. And that process of releasing has brought you to a place of flexibility. Man, you don't try to force nothing no more. You don't try to force nobody no more. You ain't trying to get nobody to see nothing no more. You're not justifying people's behavior no more, right? You holding people accountable now, right? Whether or not they hold themselves accountable, it don't make no difference. You're holding them accountable because you're bringing structure and order to your home base, okay? And everything starts within. You've been healing chaos. And remember that was within. You wasn't looking to do that without. You've been paying attention to your abundance. That was flowing from within. That wasn't flowing without. You've been tapping into your inner courage, right? You've been doing that. You've been doing that. And now that you're doing your work, this energy is bringing you to a place where you're now stepping into healed alignment. Pleasure. Okay? All right, my loves, y'all know the deal, right? You want to go ahead and you want to do something kind for yourself because you absolutely should, especially in this energy. All right, and then you also want to do something kind for somebody else. Not because you should, but because you can. And you got a whole new different perspective in how you're looking at this, right? Because you understand the journey is a progression, honey. Okay? And ain't anybody doing their work. Not everybody is doing their work, okay? So do something kind for yourself because you should. You can also do something kind for somebody else because you can. Not because you should, but because you can. Happiness is contagious. Joy is contagious. Laughter is contagious, all right? So why not spread those things because you can? All right, my lovely, wonderful soul traveling gurus. This message and this transmission is over and